Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. So, as you guys watched my video yesterday, I told you the doom and gloom was coming with the Black Friday announcement, at least for us here in Texas, of Tommy and James Brockermeyer committing to Alabama. Yes, we just lost two-time legacy. Their father was an All-American NFL player for 10 years, almost 10 years. We just lost all that. And their older brother is on scholarship on our football team, Luke Brockermeyer. We just lost all that to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So first and foremost, congratulations to Tommy and James for a tremendous choice to join a prestigious program and to have the opportunity to develop at one of the best programs of all time, rolling under Nick Saban. It's unfortunate for us because this was a must win. This was where we had the lead. We had the lead since they were born, right? When you talk about not just legacy, but two-time, two-generational, right? And a sibling, an elder sibling who was on the team. What more recruiting advantage do you need if you're Herb Hand? What more recruiting advantage do you need if you're Tom Herman? Now, I will pause there because there are a lot of Texas fans right now who are absolutely losing their minds, whether it's on message boards or social media, and sky is falling. Does today suck? Yes. Is this an embarrassing loss for us? Yes. Is this they need to be fired? Is this, I'm done with Herb Hand? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'll get to that at the back end of the video. But in regards to these two young men, this goes to the same thing I've been telling everyone on this channel for months, right? And I broke this down when we talked about the lack of first-round picks for Texas. It's very, very simple. The decision that, especially Tommy, who is top 5 overall player, best offensive tackle in the country, is in the top 100 all-time recruits on 24/7, and has all the potential in the world and should be a first-round pick in about 3-4 years. We don't do the first-round pick things, at least not yet, right? And Alabama has been doing it as well as anybody. So when you look at the end goal, when you look at making a decision of this importance, us being legacy is not enough of a sell. Austin being awesome. Yes, Austin is better than Tuscaloosa. I've been to both. No contest. When you look at, we're on the upswing, blah, blah, blah. Bama had a down year last year because last year was the first year that they didn't make the college football playoff. And we haven't won our conference in a decade. So miss me, please, 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 miss me with the entitlement to these guys. Because if you're Blake Brockermeyer, you're their father, you played 9 seasons in the NFL. He was an All-American here at Texas. That's wonderful. He understands the potential his sons have, because even James is number 2 center in the country, 4-star recruit, strong player in his own right. You have an all-time prospect and your other boy, Tommy. You are they are moving as a collective. This is now a business decision when you're dealing with prospects at this level. It goes back to what I told y'all with Keely Ringo. When Keely Ringo decided at the U.S. Army All-American game and said development, and looking at what Georgia's sending to the league, when Princely made the YouTube video, and I talked about that again on this channel, Princely made the YouTube video, and not just, I was appreciative of the way the brother broke it down, because he didn't just say about production and draft, whatever, but he also talked about perception. And that if you have the same tape at Texas as you do at Florida, that could be the difference between a first-round pick for the Florida guy and a third-round pick for the Texas guy. Devin Duvernay, let's use him as an example. He was a third-round pick this year. I'm willing to bet if he had the same tape, same numbers, everything at LSU he's probably a second or first round pick. That's just, there's no way I can prove that, but that's the perception amongst scouts. Because the other thing you got to consider is the level of competition that you're up against, right? So him going to Alabama, he's going to be performing against some of the best pass rushers in the country. I don't know, outside of Oklahoma, Oklahoma's been cranking out offensive linemen in the draft. Who else in our conference has really been cranking out linemen like that at a high rate? Shoot, Texas. Let's, you know what? Alabama. Nick Saban got to Alabama in 2007, and the first, you know, when it took him a couple years to get things right after the 6-6 season or whatever. Since 2009, these are the. I'm just going to only name the first round picks that they've had on the offensive line: Andre Smith, James Carpenter, DJ Fluker, Ryan Kelly, Jonah Williams, and this past year, Jedrick Wills, who went 10 to the Browns. And that doesn't include Cyrus Condro and Cam Robinson, who were both 5-star guys when they got there, and they, you know, disappointed, were only second-round picks. You know what Texas has to show over that same period of time? Connor Williams. That's the end of the list. So the only thing keeping us in there was sentimental reasons. Okay? Connor Williams, that's the end of the list. You know, you want to know the last time Texas had a offensive lineman selected in the first round of the NFL draft? 18 years ago. Mike Williams, 4th overall to the Buffalo Bills. 18 years ago. You don't think that Auburn and Alabama and all these people on the recruiting trail are saying that? And look, I love Herb Hand. I love Tom Herman. And while this is an L for them, this is something to where this is why Sam Cosmi has to be a first rounder this year. This is why they got to get somehow figure out getting love for Derek Kerstetter too. Whatever position he plays, he needs to get love because he is too highly graded for nobody to be talking about him. Because this is being used against you in recruiting. Period. And you got to now where we can give Herb Hand and Tom Herman credit is Texas does have on the roster right now, and with Hayden Connor being one of our commitments for 2021, they do have a good crop of prospects. Now, James Brockermeyer, missing him, he's a position of need because he plays center. And right now, I mean, we're really looking at Jake Majors and Rafidi Girmay, and then whatever they do with Kerstetter. But that Kerstetter is the short term. The long term is Rafidi Girmay and Jake Majors. So James Brockermeyer would have been your front runner there. I love Tyler Johnson, fantastic recruit, right? Like all these guys we've had come in. We have some underrated guys like Willie Tyler and Logan Parr that we love to talk about. Christian Jones. They have depth. Now, what they need to do in the game plan moving forward is you need to develop all those guys and get everybody, or the guys that are playing. Everybody's not going to go to the league. I get that. But the Andre Carricks of the world, that needs to be Sam Cosmi 2.0, right? You got to develop Junior Angulau to the point where he is highly regarded, or else you're going to continue to miss out on the big fish. Development is the only way out of this with our current people. We'll get some of the 4-stars, and even though this year was an excellent class for offensive linemen in the state of Texas overall, and we're probably going to only end up with one, some of you may be thinking, hey, well, Savion Byrd's still out there. I don't know how that's going to work out with the whole Samples connection in SMU. It sounds, you know, and you brothers were enlightening me on that, and we talked about that on one of our live chats. So, I would work on Savion Byrd. I would still work on the Brockermeyers. If we're fortunate enough and safe enough to have football, then yeah, we can go ahead and have those conversations and try to, win games and try to sway them over to our side and see if they want to reconsider, because we know they love Texas. Princely said, I love Texas. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's strictly business. I trust Ohio State to get me to where I need to be development-wise and where I need to be career-wise. Blake Brockermeyer spent 4 years at Texas, was an All-American. They turned him into a first-round pick. That was awesome. He was only at Texas for 4 years. He made his money in his career in the NFL. He was in the NFL for 9 years. The NFL is what a lot of these guys are shooting for. I'm not saying every single prospect is. A lot of guys, yeah, want to come in and play for a great school, coaches they have relationships with, all that. But when you listen to some of the Brockermeyer's quotes, by the way, Alabama's building a super team because they also have Latham committed as well from IMG, who's another 5-star offensive tackle. So they got 2 5-star offensive tackles. You heard Bryce Young was on the phone and involved in the recruiting for the Brockermeyers as well. So they're trying to build up. They're trying to team up down there. And why not? They've seen what Tua did, and Ruggs, and Jerry Jeudy, and Irv Smith Jr., and Jedrick Wills, all and Leatherwood will be the next one to go. And Neal, right? It is a factory that they've created. And so when the elite come after you, we're not amongst the elite right now. When the elite come after you and say, come join us, join the fraternity so we can get to the league. And while we're here, we win, right? That's the other thing. Winning goes hand in hand with this. I'm not trying to excuse winning and only talking about the NFL, but in terms of the level of priority and how these guys are making their decisions, NFL, do they win? And are they playing in big games in January? Texas hasn't been involved in a big game since we lost to Alabama from in the standpoint of in January where it really, really matters. I know we want to talk about the Sugar Bowl win over Georgia. That was awesome for us. It wasn't a game of significance, though, in relationship to the college football playoffs. Let's be real with ourselves, because the only way we can move forward as a program is to be real, audit, develop, get the people on the roster right now coached up, and let that be the skins on your wall. Let that be your resume to go into the young men's homes and say, look, mom, dad, your son who's a top 5 player won't fall off when he comes here. We are the best program to get him to the next level. We are the best program to get him to make sure he goes from not just being the 5th overall player of the class, but he's a number one overall pick as at his position, move 3-4 years from now, because we helped him develop and maximize his gifts. When you listen to Brockermeyer said it, Tommy Brockermeyer said it, development was key in my decision. Sitting down with Coach Flood, showing me the blueprint, showing me the game plan, and already fixing things in my game, my technique, all that. That's what they focus on. Yeah, Austin's awesome. 6th Street's awesome. DKR is awesome. Our culture's amazing. We have awesome lockers now. That's not what's losing us in these things. Okay? Yeah, the Big 12 is, that's somewhat of a hindrance. But OU, now OU's not winning these, well, with the quarterbacks they are, but they're getting people to the league. We're not. So we've got to fix that. We've talked about that a lot on this channel. We'll continue to do so. Good luck to the Brockermeyers. I've always said this, continue to recruit. Even when people are committed, they have not signed any paperwork yet. And win, develop, get people to the league. Sam Cosmi's got to be a 1st-round pick, period. All right, guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. I know it sucks, but Tom Herman, per hand, they have their marching orders. They're not terrible recruiters. They're not. This is embarrassing, and they're going to have to eat their, eat their crow on this and take the L. But I trust what they're doing. I like I talked about the guys that are on the roster right now. All right, they got a lot to work with still. So keep hope alive. Horns always up. Peace.